All right, so TJ warmed everyone up, scared everybody, which was the goal, right? That was the goal, to scare everybody to what's going on. So what does that actually mean? We talked about the economy, the state of the economy, and everything going on, right? So what does this mean for us? How do we protect ourselves against what's going on? And we do that by keeping our clients forever. So they sign up here, they never leave. That's the goal, right? So enter, I'm going to say his name wrong, Sisyphus. That's however. He's a Greek guy. He got in trouble for squatting above parallel. So the gods punished him and made him push this boulder up this hill. And every time he reaches the top of the hill, the boulder comes back down and he has to push it back up. So he's punished for life doing that. So that's why you always got to squat below parallel. But what this means for us is that when clients leave, we work so hard. I mean, I know our salespeople here work so hard to sign these people up and get them in. But if they're leaving just as fast as they're coming in, you have a leaky bucket. No matter how hard you try to fill up a leaky bucket, it's going to spill everywhere. Same thing with Sisyphus. No matter how hard he tries, no matter how hard he tries, he's just never going to get to the top. So this is why keeping clients is so important in all this. So when it comes to keeping clients, I want you guys to think like a restaurant, okay? So what are just some things off the top of your head? Like, what does a restaurant do that makes you guys come back? So Hannah, what your favorite restaurant, what do they do to makes you keep coming back? Okay. Good answer. Okay. Good service, okay? So why a restaurant, right? We could kind of relate to that. All right, so what makes restaurants 5-star versus fast food? Why do you guys go to, I don't know, Seasons 52 versus McDonald's, right? Like a place like that. Like, what's the difference between those places? Okay, would you rather eat at a 5-star restaurant or would you rather eat at a White Castle? And this answer to this really depends, I guess, on what's going on. But where would you prefer to eat, right? Like, where would you guys want to eat, obviously? A normal dinner. We'll talk about a normal dinner. Where do you guys want to go? The better restaurant, right? And for all those reasons that you guys said. Whereas White Castle, you're not going to really get that. So the pieces needed for a successful restaurant gym, right? So the first one, the atmosphere. Clean, spotless gym. Filled with good energy. So what does this mean? Now, during a downturn in the economy, when things get tight for people, we want to leave no stone unturned. So, clean gym. It sounds easier than it is. Piece of paper on the floor. You got to pick it up. Every person. No one here is above anybody else. I see paper on the floor in the gym, I pick it up. The other day, when me and Greg were in the gym, I was parking my car and a woman was doing steps outside her house, like literally going up and down her steps. So I was just talking to her, and I said, I have a gym right around the block. Come see it. Comes into the gym. She, liked everything. She came in, sat down. There was paper on the floor, like stuff like that, on the floor. So my mind, I went nuts. I'm like, this lady's about to spend $400 or $500 a month, and there's paper on the floor. So little things like that. If you see stuff on the ground or anything, pick that up, throw it out, keep it meticulous. The 5-star restaurants that you guys go to, is it dirty? Or is the White Castles dirty? There's shit all over the place when you go to those places. But at the 5-star restaurant, immaculate. Right? As soon as you guys walk in here, you can feel like the energy is pumping, the music is going. You want that to be repeatable every single time people come in. Because again, remember, when people get tight with their pockets, we need to give them the reason to stay. And that is a stupid reason for people to leave. The number one reason why people leave gyms is because it's dirty. Because it's dirty. So those areas that no one sees, that might need a dusting, just take a rag and dust it. Again, TJ talked about it. You want to be the linchpin in your business? Do that. Those little details matter. Like, for example, you guys have that plant over there. If that plant was covered in dust, that'd be disgusting if someone walked in there to sell. And you're trying to sell a $1,000 program. So you got to keep that in mind. Thank you for taking pictures, by the way. So great waiters. Okay, a lot of you guys mentioned that. So friendly, what does that mean for us? Friendly trainers who are approachable, willing to go above and beyond and make the clients happy or smile. You guys, I'm sure you all have been out to restaurants. I mean, the last time we went out as a staff, we had a really cool waiter and he was like fun and like talking to us, but he kind of made the atmosphere, right? So that's the same thing. If you're a trainer who doesn't have the energy, who's tired, dragging their feet, hands like this, hands in their pocket, how does the client feel? It's not a fun atmosphere. And what's the first thing they say? I pay all that money over there and they're miserable. Again, during a recession, hard time, people's pockets get tight. First thing to go. So you need to think about yourselves almost like a waiter. How am I making this person's experience today, every single time they come in, better? What am I doing to go above and beyond for this person to make Mrs. Jones smile every time she's in here? Maybe you give her a water bottle. You put her weight on for her. You make her laugh. You tell her a joke. Things like that. So important. And again, why do you guys go to the restaurants you go to? A lot of you mentioned the service. Same thing. So, status symbol. I don't know anybody who goes to McDonald's and takes selfies that they're at McDonald's, right? Doesn't happen. But when they go to a really expensive restaurant, Bobby Flay's and I don't know, Blackstone, this, that, and the other thing, there's always pictures taken. I take pictures outside, everybody's all dressed up. It's a status thing. So when somebody goes to Blackstone, I went to Blackstone. I'm going to show all my friends I went to Blackstone. No one posts about Subway when they get their lunch at Subway. I mean, some people do, but you get my point, right? Like, no one posts about that. So we want to be that status symbol for them. Hey, I go to the gym. No. Hey, I go to AB Fitness. It's a status thing. I go to a private gym. I go to a place where everybody knows my name. That's what you want to be. And you guys got to keep that in mind. We're not McDonald's. You know, we're not Planet Fitness. We are personal training, which is very different. So that's the status. Top-notch food, okay? So a lot of you mentioned food. That's obviously important. Greg mentioned portion size. But the food is so important. But the food is the training here. But it's not the workouts. Guys, we cannot compete on workouts. I don't care how long any of you have been certified. I don't care how many certifications, this, that, and the other thing you guys have been doing this. None of us in this room can compete on workouts. Because these other companies, and like I said before, who's our competition? Beachbody, Peloton, you know, this place, that place. They're hiring top-notch people and paying them top-notch dollars to perform these things at home. So we cannot compete on workouts. So how do we make our food better? Well, quick little backstory here. If we were to have everything else, but the food sucked, are you going to go back? No, right? Like, oh, the atmosphere is cool. I like that place. The servers are good. They fill up my drinks. But the food sucks. The food sucks. You want to have everything has to come together. So if it's not the actual workouts itself, what is it? Nitpicking, coaching, movement patterns. That's what these people pay for, and I'm going to explain what that means in a second. Small, intimate attention, nitpicking what they're doing, it has to be done. That's what makes our food taste good. Mrs. Jones, your squat is looking wonderful. Mrs. Jones, pressure in your heels. Take a deep breath in. Constant. They're paying for that small, intimate attention. And they come to us for that meticulous nature of the coaching that we bring and how much attention we bring to detail in every single session. So think about that. Our food, for a long time, I used to think the food was the workouts, but it's not the workouts, it's the coaching. And going back to what TJ said before with the state of the economy and moving yourself up, you guys need to be educating yourselves every day on ways to be that standout trainer to make somebody's day. Because again, these people are paying a lot of money to be here. And they need that reinforcement every single time they come in. And if they get it, they're going to stay. So the food is not the workouts. The food is the coaching. Does that make sense? This is why we have to have a restaurant gym. More attention equals more value. So when people leave places, they'll give you any type of excuse. Oh, it's the money, time, this, that, and the other thing. And we kind of had this discussion yesterday. It's about priorities, right? And making a priority for it. But if they don't see the value in it, they're not going to make it a priority. So that's why they fall off with time. And when people leave and they say it's because of money, it's bullshit. It's because of value. They don't see the value for what they're paying anymore. So, for example, I'm paying $500 a month, and it's okay every time I go in there. But if the food is good every single time, the atmosphere is good, the gym's clean, it's a status symbol, the trainers are great, the coaching is on point, yeah, I get the value. Every time I go in there, they make sure I'm doing the right thing every single time. So the more attention that we give each client, the higher the value is going to be for them, because that's what they're paying for. Any questions on anything so far? Cool.
I think one thing, just in business, there's something called the critical event in any service-based business, and defining what the critical event is really important. Just like you said, you weren't sure like what is the stake? Is it the results? Is it the cooking? Or is it the coaching? But for us, the critical event is the moment they walk in the door, the workout, and what happens after they're done with the workout, right? Like that is like, you get the food, maybe it looks great, and then you stick your fork in it, and you take a bite, and it tastes like shit. Like, just having a wonderful looking steak in front of you is one thing, but if it tastes like shit, you're not going to go back. And it's the same thing. If you walk in the door, you get greeted by someone with a smile, and then you start working out and do ridiculous things, and you wind up getting yourself hurt, or maybe you're there for 2 months and you don't see any movement on the scale, that's the critical event. And I think that it's reciting and rehearsing that over and over again. The atmosphere, the actual training is what we sell. Right? And obviously, there's a bunch of other things going on. That's the difference.
So again, when he says training, it's not the X's and O's of the workout. It's the coaching. We're selling the coaching. That's what we're selling. All right, so if clients use our service, they'll get insane life-changing results. We know that, right? We've set out this structure. TJ and I, you guys, all of us have put together these systems to get people from point A to point B. If they follow what we tell them, they will get the results that they're looking for, whether it's trying to lose 50 pounds, 100 pounds, 10 pounds, or be faster, stronger, whatever, right? They're going to get there if they follow the program that we gave to them. So why do some clients get results and leave, and why do some clients not get any results and stay? So why is that happening? Because listen, we all had clients for a long time who maybe had made progress initially and then stopped making progress, but they're still here. Why? So the formula for success, customer success and client success, is the customer experience times the customer outcome in and out of the sessions. So customer experience, again, the food, the coaching, making sure that their form is drilled down, timesing that by the outcome. And how the outcome might not necessarily be the weight on the scale, the body fat, the clothes, the running faster. It might just be how they feel. Mrs. Jones doesn't have any friends. Maybe Mrs. Jones is a stay-at-home housewife and she just comes to this is her only thing to do. And seeing Hannah's face every day makes her happy. That's an outcome for her. You just have to find what that outcome is for each client because every person ticks differently. So you have to find what that outcome is. But that customer experience has to be super, super high in order for them to stay. Because the customer outcome for them is different for every person. But we've talked about this before, and he mentioned it too. It's not the results that keep people. It's the outcome that person is looking for. So this is a good chart. I didn't make this, so it might not make sense. But I'm going to try to explain it to the best of my ability for what we're talking about here. So CO is customer outcome. CX is customer experience. So the main key with all of this is the relationship, right? The relationship that you guys develop with the clients. So if somebody has a weak relationship and the outcome is low, meaning they got no results and they don't really have a relationship with any of you guys, they're going to churn. They're just going to out and leave. Boot camp, I can't afford it anymore, I have no time. That's how that happens. But if they're getting results, but they still have that weak relationship with you guys, you're going to lose them to somebody else who has a better relationship with them. Now, on the opposite side, if we build an awesome relationship with these people and they're not really getting the results, they might leave. Again, depending on if you know their outcome and what they're looking for. Like I said, maybe they just get happy to see Hannah every time they come in here, and that's an outcome. So they might leave, we don't know, but they'll give you a notice because they like you. Hey, this is kind of getting a little expensive. Those are all those kind of like yellow signs, right? Like, hey, I don't know. And you try to do what you can because you like them, but you have to try to get them to that outcome that they want. And then obviously if they get the outcome, the high value, and they have a great relationship with you, they're going to stay. They're going to excel. They're going to go from twice a week to 3 times a week. They're going to go to 3 times a week to unlimited. They're going to do one-on-one. They're going to buy everything, right? So we want to get more in that top box. But as you can see from the bottom of it, having an awesome relationship with each and every client that comes in here is the key to keeping them. Because even if they don't get the results that they want, they'll tell you, hey, Hannah, I'm not getting the results that I want. And because you have an awesome relationship with them, you're going to do whatever you can to help them get there, right? I mean, how many times clients talk to you, Brianna, all the time about their diet and their nutrition? It's because they like you, and they're at that yellow point. So now it's your job to go above and beyond, like we were talking about earlier, being that linchpin, figuring out how you can get them to where they need to go and helping them to the best of your ability and finding out what that outcome is. Any questions on the chart? And we could play all different scenarios here. I mean, so I'm trying to think of a client one off my head. So for my team, the lady Linda, right? We talked about this kind of with her. So lady Linda, would you say she had a weak relationship with us or a strong relationship with us? I'll let you trained them mostly, so I'm going to point that at you. Right, so I would say she had a good relationship with us. So she was a yellow, right? She told us she wasn't getting the results that she wanted, right? We didn't know what that outcome was for her. She left. But she kind of warned us that she was leaving, right? Whereas, let's look at somebody else. Let's look at Dana, one of our most successful clients. Dana has an awesome relationship with every trainer. She got crazy results. She's been a member for 5 years. So I don't know anybody on your side to give you guys examples, but TJ, I don't know if you want to jump into that one.
Yeah, I would say we pretty much understand, and I think we know the red flags of clients, whether it's obviously they come to us and they have a problem, or their attendance starts to drop. I think like
I'm going to talk about that.
Right.
I'm going to talk about that.
It's just like figuring out how do we get ahead of that. But I would say Hannah has a pretty good pulse, and so does John and Garrett. We have a pretty good pulse as to like who those people are, and then I do think we can probably do a better job figuring out what it is we can do to retain those clients. Did I jump ahead?
No. So increased customer experience equals WAM. So what is WAM? What does that mean, right? So WAM is the best form. So we talked about, again, recession-proofing the business. How can we do that? WAM, word of mouth. That is the best type of marketing that any business can do, along with referrals. But when we provide these clients with a better experience every single time they come in, you're going to get more of that. And what does that equal? Better clients. So I mentioned our client Dana, who's been with us for 5 years, gets crazy results, has a great relationship with all of us. Every single client that she's referred to us has been just as great as her because she talks so highly of it. It's good word of mouth. If I told Greg, and we'll go use the restaurant example again, Greg, you got to go try this restaurant. The portions are huge. It's so cheap and it's great. He's going to go there and he's probably going to like it because I referred him to it. I hyped the place up. And we want that as consistently as we can. And we do that with customer experience. The best one, I just said all that. All right, but again, this is all levers that we can pull to grow during these down times. So improving that client experience and the customer experience every single time they come in here. Remember, it's not once that it happens. If these people are coming in here 3, 4, 5 times a week, that experience has to be on point every time. Every time. All right, so what are the metrics to track clients to get them to stay? So TJ kind of mentioned this. Mention this. Usage, right? Training sessions. We have an app, using the app in and out of the gym. So again, if you guys track your attendance and you see somebody starting to slip, you got to get creative to get them back in because sometimes a text and a call is not enough. Life is getting in the way. Remember, these clients do not want to be here. Nothing against any of us. They don't want to work out. They'd rather go out with their friends and eat. They don't want to do this, but they know they have to. So they look for any excuse to not come in. So when they start slipping, and not using their sessions, or in our case, using our app and tracking their food and all that other stuff, we know something's amiss, and we have to get creative in order to fix that. So message them on Facebook. I don't know, send them a card. Something different to show up differently to improve, again, that customer experience. Think about it. If a client hasn't been in and you send them a handwritten card in the mail, again, I don't know, I'm just making this up as I go, send them a handwritten card in the mail, what is Mrs. Jones going to say if she has an awesome relationship with you? Well, Hannah really cares about me. I got to get back. That's experience. And now you're making an experience outside of the gym. So, engagement, meticulous coaching. I don't care if everybody's form is perfect. You better say something. You better say something. Great job, your form is good. Reinforce that behavior. So, are they engaging on social things? Do they like the posts on social media? Do they engage with us in and out of the gym? These are things to look for. These are like, how do I know if I have a really good relationship with a client? If they're starting to do these things. Do they respond to your text messages? Do they respond to your emails? If you send them anything educational, do they watch it? Somebody has a question about something and you send them something about diet. Are they watching it? Follow up. Customer accountability. What do they have to do to get to the results that they want? We draw out that line, point A to point B, to get them to their goals. Is that clear? Or is it convoluted? The line for them, this is where they are now, before, this is what after, right? This is where they want to get to. Okay? This is how it should look. Is it clear? Okay, Mrs. Jones, you want to lose 50 pounds, you need to do this, 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 this. Is it clear for them? Or does it look like this? Because if it looks like this, they're going to be confused, they're going to give up. Okay? So we got to make sure that what we're telling them to do to keep them accountable toward their goals is simple. They're not us, guys. They're not into fitness. They don't want to track macros. They don't want to look at their nutrition. They just want to eat whatever they want and get the results. We all know it's not going to be. So we got to make this as simple as possible for them. Or even on the athlete side. Again, same thing. So again, relationships. We talked about the importance of relationship. Is it a low-touch relationship? Do you have a weak relationship with them? Or do you have a bad one, a high one? If you're not comfortable enough with these clients, it's probably not a good enough relationship. And you need to try hard. Because every client counts, especially during a downturn in the economy. Every client. All right, so this is just a relationship score. And again, this is, I'm sure you guys do the same thing. We have like our red flags, and then we have people who are like red, yellow, green. People who are almost going to cancel, people who are never going to cancel. And this is kind of like a good way to kind of like score people. So there's 3 things that you could, again, I didn't make this, so this is not mine, but you could kind of pick and choose these things. Like, for example, in emails, if we send clients emails, do they never open it? Do they almost never open it? Or do they always respond quickly? So that's one way you can track it and measure it. Do you guys do that? Do you guys have like a red, yellow, green type system?
System is like where people are at. I would say we're using the red.
It doesn't have to be that, but you guys get the idea, right? Like, do they attend the events? Do clients come? Remember, engagement, in and out of the gym. If you have an event here, are they coming? How many of your members are coming? If you have 100 members and 5 of them are coming to events, it's a problem. You got to look at that. Meetings or sessions, you could swap that out for sessions. Are they one of those clients who never comes in? You have to pull them in by their teeth to come in. Chances are they're going to cancel. So, just a way to kind of gauge somebody. And I'm sure if I name the client, it doesn't matter from which facility, if I name the client, you guys can tell me, okay, this person's yellow, this person's a green. Give me somebody, TJ, from your facility. Any person.
Bob's
Tia, yep. Okay. Give me another one.
Any of the Jodies.
Okay. So you guys can.
Person to ask. I don't know a lot to do.
Laura, tell them our people because I don't know either. So name somebody. Okay. Name someone else. So you guys get the idea. Like you guys can.
You guys talk about that on Mondays or
Every Friday. Yeah, every Friday. That's our meeting.
Regular green.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we'll go through like a red flags. And then we have our daily rant from Brianna every week. But so again, you guys just want to be able to identify clients, and then you want to be able to identify the clients on the scale. And again, it doesn't have to be this scale. It could be whatever system you want to use. But you want to be able to identify clients quickly and figure out what you need to change to get them there. So we mentioned Lori as a yellow. Why is she a yellow? So does she use everything? Stop. So that she's going back to a yellow. Does she have an awesome relationship with anybody? Okay, so if we go back to that, I don't want to go back because I'm going to lose my spot, but if we go back to that chart, she's a yellow with a risk to leave. So we need to push her up. So we need to find out what that outcome is for her every time she's in and push her to that green so she stays. Okay, so you guys can take this and run with this as far as like what you guys want to build, but this is ultimately how you should be able to figure out how we can keep clients. And again, trainers, we're talking about the recession and making yourself, lynch-proof. If you know a client's red, speak up. Speak the fuck up. Tell everybody.
The biggest red flag is probably attendance, but then there's also like little things like wearing like AB fitness gear or Amshire, like purchasing, whenever we have an event, like purchasing a pink towel, like being involved, like you could definitely even have a scoring system for the clients.
But like we all know who's gonna leave, right? You guys can sense it. You guys know like who's leaving. So if someone's a red, you need to figure out why and move them up that ladder quickly, fast, and speak up.
How do you address that? So if you identify someone as yellow or red, are you addressing it with that client, like calling them out on that?
Well, it depends on what it is, right? First thing I would do is I would tell the team, hey, look, I think this person's going to leave. We need to figure out what we're going to do here. And then you need to go back and kind of figure out, okay, are they going to leave because they have a shitty relationship with us? Are they not getting results? What's that outcome for them, right? We don't know what that is. Maybe it is weight on the scale that they want to see, or maybe it's not. You have to find that out. And then once you find those things out, then you can kind of address the client and say, hey, Mrs. Jones, it seems to me that you're not getting the results that you want. How can we help you get there? What do we need? And those are what we call crewing conversations, or conversations where you could speak to them, you can upgrade them, and you're getting them to stay. But you need to identify. The first thing that I would do if you identify a red flag, you need to tell the team immediately so you all can dissect why and how to move them up the ladder.
I think one really good thing for us all to think about is what are the attributes and the things that we can identify as green. We know who our green clients are. What do they do? How often do they train? How many events do they attend? How many days a week do you see them in an amp shirt? How many friends do they have inside of the gym? I think there's a lot of like things that we can absolutely, when there's red flags, there's also those green flags. Like how do we get that person from red or yellow? And I think it's just, like you said, like maybe it's, well, they're only doing once a week. So give them a taste of twice a week. Upgrade them to twice a week for free for 1 month. And then see if maybe now they're starting to see results, right? Like results is probably another one. Like did this person see at least, 5% body fat loss in the last year?
But that might not be it either. You have to find that outcome for them.
I think you just have to look at all of your clients and look at, okay, who are the greens? What are the things that are similar with all of these people? And then what is maybe one thing that you can try with that person that's yellow or red that can get them from the red to the yellow, from the yellow to the green? Like giving them a shirt. Like, you know what, this person doesn't wear a shirt? It's because they don't have one. Just give them one. Like, it might be something simple that is just like it's like the low-hanging fruit. But I do think that it's a good practice to kind of go through and identify what green looks like.
Yeah, but the most important thing is knowing what red looks like so you can fix it. I mean, ultimately, yellow is probably where you need to figure it out, because once somebody's a yellow, then they could go either way. So it's probably easier to sway somebody who's in the middle than they are on the end where they're about to leave and you're trying to save them. Because by the time they tell you they want to cancel, you lost. You lost. All right, so what does it mean when clients stay and why is that important? So one, we can truly make an impact on their lives, which is why we all got into this. I always knew that I wanted to help people, and I hated seeing people in pain. So I could never be a doctor or anything like that, physical therapist, because I just couldn't see people in pain. This is not what I wanted. I wanted to help people better themselves. So that's why I got into this. So number one is very important to me, right? When they signed that dotted line for us, we're signing up with them to help them. We have an obligation to make an impact on their lives. And we have with so many clients, and you guys have too. How many lives have we changed because we're here today? Because TJ and I had an idea to open up these facilities. How many lives do we impact on a daily basis? I want to multiply that. That's why I got into this. I don't know about the rest of you guys, but that's why I got into this. Number 2, customer churn is the poison that kills businesses. If clients stay, the business is healthy and will be around longer. So solving this is ultimate job security for all of us, no matter what the economy is. Remember that leaky bucket, Sisyphus, pushing the thing uphill. He's never going to get to the top because it's just going to keep rolling back down. You're never going to be able to fill the bucket if it's got a hole. You got to slap that flex tape on it so it doesn't leak out anymore, and then you could fill the bucket. Would have. So next time. Clients who stay longer lead to more profit for the business, which translates to raises, bonuses, and other perks. The X's and O's, guys. Not here to sugarcoat that. You guys want to make more money? Keep clients. Because if you're signing up 10 people every month and you're losing 12, the business is shrinking. None of those things can happen. None of them. Despite what we all, raises and stuff doesn't come on hopes and dreams. It comes from the business growing. That's that. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. So again, follow me for tips and tricks. We do a sales call. We do a sales call every Tuesday and Thursday. So if you guys want to come on or have any questions, I'm always throwing stuff on that Instagram handle so you guys can follow that. But hopefully that makes sense to you guys, and hopefully you guys understand what we're trying to get at here is that the only way to grow through this is with word of mouth, referrals, and keeping these clients longer. So hopefully that is a little more insightful for you guys to understand why this is important. And Hannah's going to go through the next thing, which is going to be the coaching. So you guys got to nitpick them. If the one thing you take away from this today is nitpicking their coaching every single time they come in. Every single time. I don't care if their form is perfect. Nitpick it like crazy because that's what they're paying for. That's the value. That attention that they're not going to get at Lifetime? At Lifetime. Or Planet Fitness or wherever. They're not going to get that anywhere else.